Class is now open. I need to install a swag hook way up there. And what is a swag hook? I'll show you what a swag hook is. These are swag hooks. That's what I call swag hook. Now, this was an existing swag hook that's been screwed up into the stucco. And there's a hole way up there. I don't know if you can see it where I'm pointing. But anyways, this was screwed right up to the stucco, and that's it. I know it wasn't screwed into any wood because the stucco is 5/8 to 3/4 to an inch thick, and this screw isn't big enough to go all the way up there. And so the last person, they just screwed it up into the stucco tight. Now, will that hold? Yeah, that would hold something that's not very heavy. Maybe some chimes, but not these chimes. We're going to install these chimes up there, and I knew this probably wasn't stout enough. I went and unscrewed that, and I found out it was just going into the stucco, and I thought, I can't do that. This thing's probably 45 pounds or more. So I went to the store, and there's always different things you can end up doing. Now this is a swag hook that's just designed, that just has its own threads, and that's a small one. I'm going to get you the video camera going here. And so I bought some jumbo swag hooks. See how much bigger this one is than that? Look at that. Okay, this is going to hold just about anything. And the funny thing was, I went to the store. I only needed one, but this one came with two. This was a 2-pack swag hooks, and sometimes you can get this that says jumbo swag hooks, but this is hardware was included. And what this comes with is a threaded screw. Now, if there's wood in there above the stucco, and if I get lucky, I could use that, and then I can screw that into there, and then I'd have to drill a pilot hole for the screw. I don't want to tighten this up and think this is going to go all the way up, because the 2x4s up the ceiling joists are at least 20 years old, maybe 24 years old or so. And if you start trying to tighten this too much with a screwdriver or something, you could snap this thing off. Okay, and then you try to get this back out, and when you try to unscrew it, the end unscrews. You see what I mean? And then you're going to have this up there, and that's why you need to drill a pilot hole. Okay, so that's if you got that. Now, here's the other way. It comes with a toggle. I call this a toggle wing nut bolt, and it's just threads. It's a threaded rod, just like that. Okay, and you can screw that in here. Okay, that's what I did. You could screw that in there, and I was a little concerned that maybe the stucco, I didn't know how thick the stucco was. And see, when you screw the wing on there, you have to have it screwed in far enough so it's not going to come off, so it's going to come straight up there. Then you push those back, and you have to poke a hole big enough in your stucco to allow that to go through. Then you have to push this up through the stucco at least to there. Do you see what I mean? For this to go thoink. And so if your stucco is thicker than that, you can undo your screw just a little bit, make sure you've got enough room to make sure that this can still come out, and you've got this much thickness from there to here. That's it. Okay, and then this pops open, and then you kind of pull down on it and screw it, and as you're pulling pressure on there, this is up above the stucco, and then you pull down, and as you're screwing up at the same time, and then this plops out above the stucco. Even though you have a hole in the stucco, that's that big around. Okay, so, but I was thinking, okay, hey, while I was at the store, I was thinking, what happens if my stucco is thicker than that? What else could I do? And I thought maybe they have some threaded rod like this, a little bit longer in their specialty area. Well, they didn't. And I thought maybe I can see if they have some toggles, just a separate toggle with a bolt head, a screw head on it that's longer than this, but they didn't. The screws were still this long. I would have had to whack it off with a hacksaw and then screw that into there to take the head off. You see what I mean? And I thought, what else could I do? Well, I looked around and they had this. Okay, and if that stucco is thicker than 7/8 of an inch, let's say, whoops, then I wouldn't use the toggle at all. I wouldn't use this swag at all. I'd have to use this, right? And I could take the toggle and I could put it on there like that. How's that? Now, you see, that's like that. I got this much room. I got plenty of room. The only thing is, if you end up having to use something like that and this pops out, when you tighten it up, yeah, that's going to be tight, and but you're going to have a hole in stucco way up there. You could put caulking around it, and see on this, I would have to grab it with a pair of pliers and some vice grips or something and tweak this little arm out just enough to then put my string on there that holds up the chimes. Okay, that's it. That's if there's no wood behind there. Now, what if let's say there's wood there? Okay, then I would take that and put that on there like that. Okay, now I've got to screw this up into wood at least that far, and so if the stucco is an inch thick, I may only have the very last bit, maybe a 1/4 inch of the screw in there. And you might think, well, I don't know if that's going to be tight enough. Well, if you got a question about it, you could always get something like this. Okay, now I could screw it in. I could screw it in this far, couldn't I? And just here's the stucco ceiling, and I could have that much hanging out, and then I can just hook it on that, and I wouldn't need the swag at all. Okay, so my first point of business is I've got to get up there and poke a nail up there or something through the screw hole that was just screwed into the stucco. Okay, and I'm going to see if there's wood behind that, and chances are there's probably not, but if there is, then I'm going to use this, and if I got any question at all, I could do this. Okay, there's no way I want to start poking a hole to allow this toggle to go through there. If I can hit wood, I might get lucky and hit the ceiling joist up there. Who knows, right? Chances are I'm not going to, but I'm just showing you some different things you can use. And like I said, I was at the store and they had this one. This was the 2-pack, and it was $5.92. They had a single. I thought I only need one, and I was going to have to decide which color to get, and they had one for $5.92. I had to look at that twice, and they had a 2-pack for $5.92. What do you suppose I did? Yes, of course I got the 2-pack. I'm only going to end up using one of these, but I can use the other one for another time, right? So now I've got to decide what color to use. I was talking to my wife, and initially she said, "Oh, just use the bronze one. Just use this. It's kind of bronzy black." And then I looked at this one and I thought, well, you know, she's got some hardware. There's some hardware on the doors. It's kind of a pewter color. You see this? It's kind of silvery right here. It's not all the way silver, but this one is not necessarily going to match that, is it? If this was the only one I had, I'd put this one in. Okay, it's going to be way up high on the ceiling. Okay, but do you see some other things that I could justify putting this color up? I got The Weber cover is on here. Here's a light fixture that's dark brown. It's not exactly bronze, or this could be black. This is black. It's not really black, is it? But this is black. And I'm looking down here. The threshold is anodized bronze, but that's pretty much black. My floor mat. See, I got the floor mat here until I get done, and it looks like that. Well, that's got black in it, right? This thing covering the water spigot, that's black. Here's another light over here, that's black. Okay, and with that going up there, I think she was right. I'm gonna put the black one in. I gave her a second choice, and I gave her some different options. She said, it doesn't really matter to me. So I get to make the choice. And the wind chimes are black. Why not use the black one? That's why I'm gonna use the black. And you know, could you get by with this silver one? Well, this trim around here is silver. It would have been fine. The ends of these are silver. When you look up there, do you see what I mean? You start looking at different things. And another good reason to get the 2-pack. Now you've got a choice. And sometimes you can get these in white too. So I've seen them in white. I've seen them in this silver. I've seen them black or dark bronze. See, this one here is not black. This one's bronze. See the difference in color? And I've also seen them in brass color, like gold. You just have to look at the store and decide. See, here's some more silver. This little hook, and then for the bird feeder, this is black. So for all those different reasons, I mean, either one could work, but I'm going to end up using the black one. Okay. So first things first, I've got my big old tall ladder out here, my 8-foot tall ladder. I'm going to get up there, and I've got my my eyewear. Always protect your eyes. You never know. If you don't have those, something's going to go right in your eye. It's going to drop down a little chunk of concrete stuff, some sand, some grit, whatever. I'm gonna get a nail, if I have a nail, or a long screw, and kind of do some probing. Make sure I can determine whether or not there's wood up there or not. That's my next step. If you want to watch all that, stick around, because that's what this whole entire video is about. What is this video about anyways? Well, here I got some different hooks. Got all kinds of different things here. But I'm going to install a swag hook. This was the old one, and I'm going to put one of these, and see, you've got this, there's different things here, and I'll talk about that in a minute. If you want to watch how to install a swag hook on a stucco ceiling, no less, stick around, because is there a right and wrong way to install into the ceiling a swag hook? Of course, the answer is yes. Okay, it didn't take me long to figure it out. Of course, I didn't get lucky to have any wood behind there. I just took a 8-penny nail, a 16-penny nail, and ran it up there. No go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nail set. I got a crummy nail set. See how the end is all kind of mashed down? I'm just going to take that and start breaking out the stucco a little bit. And I've got a crummy screwdriver. I don't think I'm going to end up using that, but I just want to poke around the edges, because I've got to get a hole. I've got to make a hole that big. And see, I can make it oblong instead of exactly round. And then the trim of the swag hook is going to cover it up. Okay? And they have different size swag hooks. This was the jumbo size. They have one smaller like this, but then of course the wing, the toggle wing nut bolt, whatever you want to call that, is going to be smaller. This was 1/4 inch. Okay, and that you would have to use a 3/16 or something, because you don't want the hole any bigger than your swags. That's going to cover it up, because that's going to cover your hole up down, you know, on the stucco or sheetrock. And you can do the same thing on sheetrock too, but you know, same type of thing. That's another reason why I decided to use the big swag, because I'm holding so much poundage up there. That thing is probably 40 pounds at least, maybe even heavier than that. But I feel confident if I get it up there and get these wings to pop out properly, then that is going to hold it, believe it or not, you know, above the stucco. Does that make sense? That's why I'm going to do that. See, I've only got about 3/4 or so up. Once I start poking the hole, then I'll take this up here and I'll keep double checking and stuff. And once I get it big enough, I'll be able to determine about how thick that stucco is. So chip, chip, chip as you go. That's my next step. Okay, I think I got enough of it. I'm just holding the video camera as I get up here. Now see, this has to go like that. See how this is oblong? See how I made the hole? I made the hole oblong, so I didn't have to make it any bigger than I had to. And that's going to be able to fit up in there, I believe. I'm going to have to make sure I'm not hitting anything. With stucco ceilings, there's wire up there, razor wire type stuff, and you have to make sure the backing of that is moved out of the way. So that's why I took my crummy screwdriver and kind of wedged that out of the way, because this has to be pushed right up. And I want to talk about this here for a minute, okay? Now once you get your hole big enough, you should be able to shine a flashlight up there, or take your finger or something to determine whether or not you think this is going to fit. Now see, when you have it on there, you don't have to make it flush with that. When this is pushed down, you got to make sure you got enough threads coming through there to where this will pop up properly, okay? So I could, see how it's sticking out a 1/4 inch? I could make that just 1/8 of an inch. You see what I mean? Even though it's inset, I just need to make sure that this thing pops out the whole way, because if it only pops out like that and you try to tighten it up, there's no way you're going to tighten it up, because the screw's not going to come through the hole, right? Okay, then this thing here, I can screw this onto the threads about 1/4 of an inch. Well, if you need to gain 1/16 of an inch, you can loosen that up just a little bit, so you got just a little bit of extra room for this to pop up there. And then as this comes down, this will tighten up on the threads to a certain extent to get it up there if you need more room. Now, I'm pretty sure this is plenty. This is plenty of room. I think that stucco up there is actually, maybe 1/2 inch to 5/8 of an inch, and I'm thinking, is that going to hold this whole thing? Yeah, it should, because this is going to flop over on the back side. Do you see what I mean? And you'd have to crack the stucco out all the way through. And talking about the stucco cracking, when you're using your nail set up there, you don't want to kick out too much on the back side to think you're going to get the hole a little bit bigger, and then maybe you don't use that. Now you're going to make the stucco that much weaker all the way around it once you get your toggle up there. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so now I'm almost ready. I need to double check, make sure it'll slip through there properly without it gouging on the side. And I can, as long as I can push it up yay far, then I can gently pull down and know that I'm all set to go. Okay, so that's my next step, and I'm going to be putting this one in. Be right back. Let's do it. Oh, do I feel lucky today? Let's just see. I should be able to get this now. I've got enough room We'll poke that in there. And I need to make sure that those prongs go up. Okay, they did. Now see, it's just hanging like that. And there's no way you're gonna get it tight if you just try to start turning without pulling down. You have to kind of pull down and screw at the same time, because what's happening is as you're pulling down, it's keeping your toggle wing nut from swiveling around. You see what I mean? And that's all I'm doing. I'm pulling down on it and it's getting closer. Okay, I'm just pulling down as I'm turning it. Okay. And I want to center it, position it so it's going to cover up the hole on the stucco. Okay. And now I'm tightening it to the stucco. And I only have to get it snug. I don't have to get it really super tight, do I? You know? Still going. And wherever it stops, it stops. I don't care where this lines up or anything. If it lines up to the front, to the backyard, fine. Okay? There, that's it. I'm not doing anything more. I could probably, if I had something to hang on to this, I could probably hang off of that. You know what I mean? And it's only as strong as your neck. That's why, another reason why I decided to go with the jumbo, because I don't want that neck to snap off. You see what I mean? That's the only thing. The neck, in fact, the neck, I believe the neck would snap off before the stucco would break out. You see? Okay. That's pretty much it. Okay? I just have to get this all untangled and hung. And boy, Mommy's gonna be happy when this is up. It's been down for a while. She's been bugging me about it, but it didn't really take that long once I got going. Okay, all right. So that is how to install a swag hook, and there's different ways. Hopefully, I gave you enough information on this video for you to decide if you can install it on your own, and pretty much you do the same way if that was a sheetrock drywall ceiling inside your house, an angled ceiling, a flat ceiling. If you got wood up there, you know what to do. You're going to use this one, okay, with the wood threads. If it's the other, you're going to use this. You're going to use just the threaded rod with the toggle, okay. And the important thing is to make sure you've got that fairly snug on your toggle. I could have tightened up the brown one a little bit more, but I got it on there plenty. I don't think anything's going to happen to it. Okay? So if you want to keep watching this video, I'm going to finish it up showing you this after I install it. Here's one other way you can install it. We used to have a condo and the ceiling outside was wood, so I just took a bicycle hook and I screwed that right up into the wood and hung the chimes off that. But that's, you know, that was outside in a an outside wood deck by a river and stuff, and that went okay. But for here, I'm glad I used the swag hooks, and you could do the swag hooks on a wood ceiling. You can use a little small one like that, or you could use the big one. You could use the big one just like I showed you with the threaded rod for wood threads. Okay, so all kinds of ways. You know, if there's a will, there's a way. There's different ways to install a swag hook or to install something up on the ceiling. If you got questions, take a a picture of your ceiling and go down to your local hardware store to show them that and tell them what you want to hang, and they'll give you some different options, and chances are they'll show you all kinds of stuff like this, or they might have some other idea for you too, and you can ask them any questions you want and they should get you set up. Okay. Okay, here it is. Listen to this thing. And see, it has this paddle, so in the wind hits that and then it moves that. Now we had this installed way up high, off of a deck at an angled ceiling, and so it was way up there in the corner. It wasn't bothering anybody. I hung it on the string and it came down lower. I was able to raise it up, but look at this. It's right where the door is. I'm hitting that, and had I been thinking, I should have measured that first, because all I was thinking of was the old swag hook was right there with a very small little chime on there from years ago before we even purchased this house, and I wanted to cover up that hole and stuff. I should have measured this whole thing, okay? And had I could have maybe decided to install this somewhere else. Maybe I should have installed it way over there in the corner, you know, over there. And the Weber usually is over here. Even if it was right there, it would be in such a location where nobody's going to hit their head on it, okay? And I told Mommy about it, and she seemed to be fine with it. She says, "Oh no, it's fine." She's gonna like to hear it. It's closer to the door. Sometimes she's gonna have the door open, even if she doesn't have the door open. If she's got the windows open, she's gonna be able to hear it from here more so than over there. Okay, but had it been me, and later on down the road, guess what? I may end up taking this down and finding some caulking. And the type of caulking I got construction adhesive, and it's almost the same color as the stucco up there, okay? And I could put that up there. I could let that dry. I've got some stucco patch. Actually, for this particular stucco, I could just patch that small little hole, let's say, and do this all over again. But if I do, when I take that one down, the little wing bolt is gonna stay up in the ceiling. Well, lucky for me, I've got the extra one, okay? And you can go to the store, if you need an extra one, you can go to the store and get a little package kind of like that with one or two in there the same size as this, let's say, and then I would have the wings. Because because when you unscrew this, that wing bolt stays up in the ceiling, see? So maybe later on down the road, if this gives us fits, I'll show you what I'm talking about. My loss is your gain, right? That's what my videos are all about. Stuff to help you save some money and stuff. Here, I'm gonna hit this if I'm not careful. Come in through the door, we're just gonna have to walk through this, and she'll probably get used to it, but after once or twice whacking herself on her face and stuff, if she ends up wanting that moved, it's gonna be very simple for me to do. It's gonna take me a little bit longer than this, obviously, to patch the hole, put some stucco patch up in there, and then come over here. I'd have to move the Weber over here, strategically put it. I'll probably put it in the corner somewhere. I can't just move it. I can't just move it down from this one right in here straight up, like right there, because then if you're at the Weber, you're gonna be hitting your head with this, right? But she really likes this this deeper sound. You can get chimes like this that the tubes are smaller, okay, but it doesn't have this nice sound. But boy, when it gets windy, she's going to be hearing this, and hopefully the neighbors aren't going to complain or anything. And if so, then we just take this off, okay? And that's still going to move around, but that'll help soften it like that. But more than likely down the road, like I say, I can take this, poke another hole up in the stucco, because I know how to do that. All I have to do is watch my video, right? And you saw how easy it was. And to start my stucco hole, I would just drill a screw hole up there and pull that down, and then just start using my nail set. Tap, 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 tap. And pretty soon, it didn't really take me that long to whack a hole in that, okay? Now, if your stucco is 50 years old, it's gonna be harder than this stuff. This is 24-year-old stucco, and they don't make it as thick as they used to. Years ago, they used to make it thicker, about an inch, with 2 layers, maybe 3 layers of stucco on the stucco wire up there. And then that's stucco's like hard concrete that's a little bit harder to chip, but you could do it. And you might have to get a drill bit for stucco or something, and to get your starter hole and use that, and so forth and so on. But and then a crummy old nail set is all I used. Okay, and then I can do the same thing like this and do it over there. Okay, well, that's it. That's it for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. I hope you learned some things. Maybe what to do, what not to do. Hey, VideoJoe did it like this. He's gonna whack his head, whack-a-mole, every single time he comes out that door. I'm not gonna put it there. I'm gonna put it over there in the corner, just like he said, and that's probably what I'll end up doing. But hey, I take my orders from the boss woman, and if she wants it here, I pointed out all the stuff to her, and she seemed to be okay with it. I mean, that middle thing, I'd have to tie that up higher, and then I would have to take this and run it up about like that, and maybe miss. But I didn't want it up too high, or else it's going to hit up here. Do you see what I mean? So different things that I could do to modify this to make it go up a little bit higher, right? But as it is, powers that be say, hey, VideoJoe, you can just leave it here. I'll give her the idea about this after she whacks her head a couple times, and chances are down the road I'll be installing it over there.